right, here we go. All right, welcome into the Blood Prison Shakedown. Been a minute. Welcome to 2022, a new year, and I'm starting it off pretty good. We're going to do a little Blood Prison series. Going to talk to some people here at the Ohio State Reformatory where we do Blood Prison, and I'm going to start it off with a guy that I go way back with, way before Blood Prison. We talked. We've been hanging out since '06 at the old shop. Everybody, welcome in Brian Demski. How you doing, man?
Which one do I look at?
You gonna look at any one of them? I don't know where she's at. One of these, yeah.
Hey, how you doing over there?
So how's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready. What you got for me?
What do I got?
What's the rules? No politics.
Talk about whatever you want.
No religion. No whatever, man.
You want to shit on politics, religion? You go right ahead.
Also, the funny part is I've already got a couple people that message me, and one person wants to play a drinking game because I say fuck a lot.
Yeah.
And they said every time I say fuck, they're probably going to do a shot. So if you guys want to probably join that person after you watch this, maybe it's a twofer. You're an interview and a drinking game.
Well, if I would have known, I would have had shots lined up for us.
Well, I mean, I don't drink, but you know.
That is true. So, Brian, we could talk about a ton of things because you've been in.
We could do 6 series.
Oh, yeah. We could. Yeah. Brian's been all over the country working at haunted attractions, worked in effect shops, worked on movies, all that good shit. And we keep it Halloween around here, as you know. So, I mean, mostly what I ask people starting off is, a lot of people want to know, like, how a guy like you gets started, like, even in your early days. So, Brian was in the Navy. I know you did a stint in the Navy.
Oh, yeah.
Right after you got out of school and everything.
Yep.
But as a kid, were you into Halloween as far as like, we're going trick-or-treating?
Oh, of course.
I want to get my costume and my mask and
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd have to say I can't even remember back. So there's a lot of things I'm not going to be good at dates and things like that.
That's all right.
Please bear with me. This is an old brain. It did a lot of drugs when it was younger, so there is some problems. Okay. Well, of course, and growing up, loved horror movies, sci-fi movies. It's that Sunday when you're at home and there's nothing to do, so it's watching Godzilla on the black and white episodes of Godzilla and Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein, all that. So, of course, most definitely big Kiss fan growing up. So, of course, Gene Simmons was, my favorite of all because he's the evil dude, spits blood, breathes fire, and he was cool and all that. So, yeah, I even did a stint of, I think it was 6th grade. I won best costume in my class for dressed up like Gene Simmons. It was like an older art student did my makeup for me, and it came in dressed up like Gene Simmons, had a real guitar, and all the other stuff was made out of cardboard with aluminum. I forget, like aluminum foil and shit like that. But so as far as the Halloween stuff, always did how trick or treat and doing all that kind of stuff.
So originally you're up from Flint, yeah?
Flint, Michigan. And don't ask about the water because that happened after I left. I grew up in Flint and I graduated in 1986.
Wow. Yeah, so you are old then, yeah.
I'm an old fucker. Check out the hair. It's great.
Got some gray in there, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you with that long a hair.
Oh, yeah. This is crazy. This is crazy hair.
Yeah. Back in the day when I first met you, it was the long hair.
Yeah, bald.
And kind of buzz cut going.
Yeah, buzz, yeah.
So you went up to Flint. You were in Flint. That's where you grew up, which is interesting because there's a series about Flint.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that town's got its own.
Yeah. My neighborhood I grew up in was picture perfect family life. Everybody used to go to our house when I grew up, and there was 10,000 kids playing there because I got a couple older brothers. And it was safe. It was great. Now it's when I go to visit mom and dad, it's like it's just changed. You kind of feel bad. That you drive down the road and you're like, man, I used to do this in this neighborhood and this, and end of the streets all boarded up, buildings burned out, all that. So yeah, it's just kind of.
You were in bands too, right?
Yep,
in a couple bands.
Yep, I played. I was actually in marching band and all that stuff, but I got into punk rock like my junior-ish year, and just found a shitty old drum set and started jamming with a couple other dudes that were. We just kind of wrote our own stuff, and we were into punk, and There was like 2 or 3 in my high school at that time. We were like the only punk rockers. So everyone didn't know what we were doing. I don't think we really knew what we were doing. We just wanted to be different and rebels and, anarchy this, and we're cool, and we rode skateboards and bleached our pants. And but I've really never changed as far as my music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm still a diehard punk rocker, metal. I mean, you and I can, me and you
We've
went
been
to
to
see
shows.
Slayer.
Yeah.
I mean, all the other stuff. So, I've kind of just wore the same clothes and same music and all that ever since.
So you're growing up in Flint. You love Halloween and horror, punk rock and metal, and you're getting into all this shit.
Yep.
What leads you to the Navy? Why the Navy?
Well, a lot of semen. No, a lot of semen in there.
That's what led him.
Well, it was one of those things where I think I was leading down the wrong path at that time with just life in general as an 18-year-old kid. It sucks to admit it now. Back then, you would never admit it. You go, dude, I'm fucking punk rock and I'm badass.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't going anywhere. And I goes, I hated school, hated everybody in school.
Right.
They all hated me because I hated them. I don't know, whatever it was. It just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And so going to college was not an answer. I graduated. I was like, thank God I'm out of here. But I just felt like I wanted to travel. I knew the Navy would take care of me, all that stuff. So I just went to the Navy recruiter, signed up, and boom, I was off to boot camp. And then I got stationed in Japan.
So was your dad or any uncles or anything like that in the military?
My dad was in the Army. I got a couple uncles that were in. Actually, I have an uncle that was in the Navy. He was in World War II. I don't really know that much. My dad wasn't in any wars or anything like that. He just did his time in the Army. And
you strike me as the kind of guy that they talk about in the Navy. That's that filthy guy that goes from port to port.
Of course. Of course.
And I only say that because I've heard stories.
Yeah. We don't have enough time, but yeah. Just so you guys all know, because Vic and I have been friends for many years. Vic knows so much crazy shit about me. You guys would not. Well, some of the other listeners too that are friends of mine that I'm close to.
We could all chime in on some.
Everybody could go. Hey,
remember that time you told me about? Went to Bangkok and the Philippines and
all those places and. There's some good stories,
Filthy sailors.
I never knew what 50 pesos on a coin or on a beer bottle, 50 pesos would do when you pay someone enough to sit on them or something like that. So anyways, crazy stories out there. You can message me.
So it was learning experience. What is someone sitting on 50 pesos going to be like?
Exactly.
Join the Navy, find out.
Saw lots of things.
So how long were you in there, man? Navy time? 3 years, 4 years?
No, I did roughly almost 5 years. I decommissioned 2 ships quickly. What that means is they take the ship out of the Navy.
Yeah.
It got too old. As times were happening with those ships, they've already been in 20, 30 years, so they're kind of outdated. I was a boiler technician. I worked down in the boiler rooms, propulsion engineering. So unfortunately, those ships were just too old, so they were going to like nuclear or gas turbine. So once that time came, they would go, hey, do you want to stay in the Navy and take some schooling and learn about gas turbines and shit? And I was like, no, I want to get out.
Yeah.
I want to be Brian again. I mean, I had a great time. Trust me, there's a million stories. You know that. Yeah. I learned a lot of stuff. But I just had to get out and be me again. And that was probably June of 92. I got out, 1992. And I went over, and the first war that we had was, I think Bush was our president. Mm-hmm. I didn't see any action or anything like that, but we were engaged in our first war, or the first war with all the oil and all that other bullshit. So I got veteran status out of it and all that, which is cool. I saw lots of cool stuff in the Navy. Did some great experiences and stuff. Grew up a lot, Went from being a dumb little, stoner punk rocker and got my shit together a little bit and learned life, what's better than all that.
So where'd you step off the boat, man? Where were you at when you were like, all right, I'm leaving?
I was stationed in San Diego, and I kind of planned it that way so I could make my way to Los Angeles.
Right.
I wanted to be in LA. Everything that I'm into, which is the movies and TV and special effects and music and the lifestyle of BMX and I used to race BMX when I was younger, so I'm like, the whole lifestyle of skateboarding and just all that, because there's Venice Beach in LA and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I just kind of planned it so once I got out of, and when I was in San Diego, that I was going to move to LA.
Right on. So then how did you get in, like, to your first, I don't know, maybe effects shop, or I know you started working in the movies or started doing, because I remember you telling me about doing odd jobs and then doing stuff in between. Yep. So how did you get into the movie part of things?
Well, the first thing that I ever really did was I started making some artwork. I was still in the Navy. Mm-hmm. So this is got to be 1990, 1991, something like that. Mm. I learned how to do ceramics. So I would go to this place. It was all older Mexican ladies doing all kinds of ceramics, carving them, pouring them up. And I was the only young guy.
I wasn't related to any of them. Before you ask.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
They all,
well, maybe.
They all would. So I go in there, and I'm like the only dude, of course, but I'm like this young white guy going in there. And I'm like, hey, I want to pour up a skull. I got the skull mold, and they're all looking at me like I'm just totally crazy.
Yeah.
And so a couple of the ladies that spoke a little bit of English kind of helped me out, and I did it. So I learned all about ceramics.
Yeah.
So I'd go in there and pour up all these skulls. So they kind of take a liking to me. They're like, oh, he's cute. He's funny. Yeah. So I take those, and I started making candle holders out of them. And I started making just different kind of decorations for your house and stuff like that. And I found out about a store in Los Angeles. It was called Necromance. And it's kind of where it all really started there. It was a friend of mine, so I'm still friends with, Nancy Smith. She owned this little store. And I would sell her big skull candle holders and decorations for your wall and wall plaques and stuff like that. And I went up. I sent her some pictures from San Diego, and I was painting everything on my little back porch. I lived off the beach and everything down Ocean Beach, and I sent her pictures, and she's like, "Oh, this stuff's great. Bring it to my store." So I drive up there, sold her everything. Don't know how to price anything. I'm just doing it because it was fun to do.
Right. Yeah.
Now, a little bit before that, to rewind, not to get off the subject, I was already kind of tinkering around with some G.I. Joes and some other things and making little zombies and doing all this stuff when I was 15, 16. But going to the Navy, it was kind of hard to do any of that because I lived on a ship.
Yeah.
So now once I'm still in the Navy, but I'm living in an apartment. So I take them up there, and she calls me the next day. Now, you might not know these because I'm an old man, but these are the days where there's no cell phones or anything like that.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, I didn't know. Right. So there was a regular phone call, and she says, I sold everything you just brought me the next day. And I says, wow, she's like, bring me more stuff. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to mass produce. I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of did it. And I goes, well, shit, I did something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm scrambling around to find skull things and pieces and lamps. And I started making, full lamps and chandeliers and all that. So it's kind of funny because I go to a lot of these shows and stuff that I do now. And I see these guys that make a skull chandelier or a skull lamp or whatever. And I'm like, I made all that shit fucking 30 years ago,
right?
I don't really do it anymore. It's not really my cup of tea, but it's just kind of funny that I see some dudes that are totally thinking they invented something cool, and I'm like, I did all that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Been there. It's been
but
done.
But anyways, that's kind of where it all started with that. Not to keep going off on a tangent, but it started from there, and then I started doing Fangoria shows, and
okay.
I displayed at Fangoria, and that's where I was sitting at my booth, and the booth next to me was Army of Darkness. It was just getting ready to come out.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
Next to me is when I look over, and you're like starstruck. I'm still in the Navy. I'm literally still in the Navy. I took the weekend off. I look over, and that's where you see like Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell. I see all the KNB guys, and you're just like, you're looking up to them like, oh my God, these guys who did fucking Evil Dead, and so you're totally jazzed, and they're like 2-3 feet away from you. So I started talking to those guys, and then other things started happening. As I'm like, well, once I get out of the Navy, I'm gonna work on movies and stuff. Well, it's really not that easy, but
no. Well, I remember. So like, I started working. Remember Precinct 13 in Crestline.
Yep.
You had worked because Robert Kurtzman owned that, and then he was the K of KNB.
Yes.
And you worked at the KNB shop.
Yep.
How did you get your foot in the door there?
I literally, it's funny. I didn't think any of these guys knew me or whatever. And I mean, maybe they see me around, or maybe someone says something, but I literally walked up to Greg at the bar, bought him a drink, because you got to buy some, you got to buy him a drink.
You're talking about Greg Nicotero.
Yeah. And I says, hey man, you got any work over there? And he goes, sure. He says, call me on Monday. Wow. I walked away, and I think, you ever see the movie Scanners where your head explodes?
Yeah, right.
That's what just happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just some dipshit guy.
Yeah.
Well, I still am. But.
Dipshit kid.
Yeah, I was younger. Yeah, a younger version of me, obviously.
Right.
So I walk away, and I'm like, holy shit, man. I'm going Monday? All right. So I take my little book with photos and stuff in there, and I'm like, think I'm all bad going there, and I'm walking through the shop going, like, dude, this is unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, you're
legit,
walking through major, legit KNB Effects, and you're seeing all the shit, be mechanical shit. And I remember they were testing the alligator for Eraser, and they had like a dude inside the mouth, and it's like fucking thrashing around. I'm like, you're just really blown away.
Starstruck again. You're just like, holy shit.
You're just checking all the big shit out in there. And sure enough, I sat down with Greg, and within a few minutes, we talked and whatever, and we agreed on a price and when to start. And sure enough, I started on day one was actually day two after Spawn. They just did the body cast on Michael J. White and Leguizamo.
Yep.
And all these guys are sculpting big ass fucking the Spawn creature. What the fuck was the name? I can't remember it. The Violator. I mean, it was life size. It was 13, 15 foot tall,
Yeah.
And I got thrown into the mold department. So
now, have you made molds before that?
Not like yes. I mean, I dabbled because I made my own stuff, but making molds is, it's definitely an art. So I mean, by no means, there's so many people out there that are like, oh, I made a mold. And I look at it and I go, yeesh, you might want to go back to fucking flipping burgers.
Yeah.
But it takes years to learn. It's an art and it's a skill, just like any other thing that you do. You become a good mold maker. You're a wanted person in the industry or whatever it may be. I just got better and better because that's all I fucking did was every day you go in there. It was like a factory. Sculptures coming in. When you're done with the sculpture, boom, there's another one. There's this, make this, do that. And we did everything in fiberglass there. So anything that had to do with polyester resin, carbondo, any of that kind of stuff, dude.
So did somebody like take you under their wing, or was it like a bunch of people?
There was a bunch of dudes that knew it, but there was a bunch of people that really saw that I was on time, I was dedicated, I was good, I was skilled. And one was Alex Diaz, who you've met before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm still good friends with him. Talk to him, online. And another person was Eric Harris, who's an incredible makeup artist. He's still out in L.A. and stuff. You don't know.
No, I don't know him.
He, both those guys must have saw something, or we just good friends and said, "Hey, man, I'll teach you how to do this." Is kind of the thing. And we just got better and better at what we did because we did it every day, all day. I did it at lunchtime. I would do projects that, you know, I would work right through lunch. I mean, it's all I did.
Right.
So I got so good at doing it. I mean, I could do tricks with polyester resin. We invented, me and another guy, and caught on to the invention of the T-nuts and the molds and stuff. And it was like this grand thing that we did, and nobody did it. We were mixing up different kinds of waxes to pull apart molds, and the list goes on and on. Because that's all we did, 24/7, like kind of there, you know.
Yeah.
So I've molded everything under the sun you can imagine. Everything, large creatures, small bodies, this, that, and all kinds of different materials from back in the day. Now the technology and of materials now is a whole new ball game, and I don't really do it anymore. I fucking hate doing molds. I've
Right.
done a million of them.
Yeah.
So it's just not interesting to me anymore.
Sure.
I could critique the hell out of him and go, that guy needs to go back to, you know, riding a bike. You know. But I just don't like doing it. It's just not interesting to me anymore. So
Yeah, you ran its course with it. Yeah.
And there was a time too that a couple people said, "Hey man, you make some good molds. I know you make good molds," and they paid me, and I did it. But other than that, it's just not up my alley, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you got other stuff on your plate now.
Oh yeah, man. Oh.
So you're out in LA. You're working at KNB. How long were you out there in Los Angeles?
I was out there till about 98, 99-ish. And then that's when I found out I had a kid on the way.
Right. So I know you at some point you moved back to Michigan.
Yep.
And you got married.
Yep, got married.
You got at least one and then another one coming.
Couple that I know. Two that I got two, but there might be a few floating around.
There's a couple, yeah.
Maybe there's one over in Japan, like a blonde-haired kid with a big dick running around. I don't know, maybe something like
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they'll just know that, this is the Polish blend.
Yeah, Japanese blonde kid, like with three legs walking around. Dude, best thing ever happened. 2 kids, you know, and never thought I'd be
good boys.
Never
good boys.
Never thought I'd be a dad. And when it happened, you know, you just go, fuck, man, I'm gonna be like, things changed. I mean,
Sure.
you got to figure everything out. You go, well, I guess I can't do this anymore. I can't do that. I got my money's got to go here, whatever. Big change. So we live in Michigan.
So you're in Michigan now. At what point? I know you weren't really working in effects or anything. So you get a call from Kurtzman to come to Ohio. How was that? Were you like relieved? Like, I got to get back into this.
Well, actually, that's coming up. Actually, when I moved to Michigan, I was in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing this commercial on one of the radio stations, and it was for a haunted house.
Yeah.
And they were like, real Hollywood effects, scenes, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, who the fuck's out here with Hollywood? I mean, dude, I'm in Grand Rapids. I'm thinking, you know, I'm in Iceland, you know.
Yeah, long way from Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
My life was so crazily changed, man. I don't know if crazily is a word. I don't know.
It is now.
I just made it up. So write that one down. When I heard about it, I'm like, well, maybe there's some effects guys that I know. Like I was taken so far out of my element.
Yeah.
Of being around movies, again, you know, you're desensitized also when you live in LA and how, you know, you drive by the Hollywood sign and go, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, you're driving down, you know,
you're used to it.
Go to the Rainbow Room. I remember going there and you see Lemmy playing fucking Pac-Man, and you see Nikki Sixx over and you know, oh my God, you know, yeah, big deal, you know. So it's a big, so your life is such a crazy world, or at least mine was, with all the shit I was doing, hanging out at tattoo shops, drugs, hanging out with bands. I mean, I was hanging out with dudes from Cold Chamber before they were, you know.
Right.
So I was just partying, doing all kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'm like, damn, I got to be a dad.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening here. I don't know anybody. And then when I hear about the Hollywood effects, so I got to check this out. So I go there, and it's a place in Grand Rapids called The Haunt.
Yeah.
So I went there, and I was like, hey, man, I want to get involved here. How do I get involved? And sure enough, he's like, come on up, man, work for us and stuff. And so it was like my first haunt that I really worked at. That was a very big haunt. Was 2002 maybe, something like that. So that was the first haunt that I did. Now, getting the call from Kurtzman, that was probably about 2 years, 3 years later. And I was working at a factory making car mirrors.
Yeah.
Just supporting the kids doing what I did, because there was no movie stuff. There was no effects stuff.
Right.
That's all I know how to do. I mean, I went from the Navy into doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not like there's in the newspaper looking for a mold maker.
Right.
You know, whatever. So I'm working at a place making car mirrors and stuff, and then that's when my second kid came along. And then I got the call. It was actually Gino called me.
Oh, it was Gino.
So Bob probably was like, Gino, call Demski. You know?
Yeah.
And so Gino calls me and says, hey, man, we're going to do a movie. Bob's doing a movie in Crestline.
Yeah.
And I said, where the fuck is Crestline?
Yeah.
Just like anybody else on the planet.
Right. Crestline where? Yeah.
Yeah, Crestline. Who cares? You know? So I'm excited because I've been working in a factory that, you know, I'm ready to, you know, blow my brains out. It's just, you know, same thing every day. It's just not my, you know, I'm thinking about all the other stuff that I should be doing and creating and doing and stuff. And I'm like, man, I need, you know, the creative juices as an artist.
Need that outlet.
Yeah, it just, you know, going to a factory, doing the same things and you know, all that stuff. So he calls me and I was like, got some of the details. Before we went up there, it was a convention in North Royalton, Cinema Wasteland.
Yeah.
So me, Rach, and my friend Paul.
Yeah. I remember Paul.
We drove out to the convention. Mm-hmm. We went there, and then we says, well, we'll go see Bob's shop, which is another hour 45.
Yeah.
So we went down there. That's when we met Bob, saw the shop, and was blown away. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to make the move. Or I'm going to get rid of the job in the factory or whatever. And that's what I did. I gave it 2 weeks notice and made some plans, went and bought a new car that was going to make it back. And I drove back and forth every weekend for who knows how, what was it, a year or two?
Yeah.
I mean, I would drive, stay down there all week and then leave on Friday and do all that driving and me falling out of the trailer and I mean, there's
again more of the stories that we have.
There's so many goddamn stories.
Yeah, because you were sleeping in the camper out back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and it was icy, and I slipped and fell down the goddamn steps.
Oh, so
and
funny.
Of course, there was surveillance cameras out there that caught me.
Oh, it was so funny, man. So funny.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
One of many, many shenanigans, if you will.
Well, we won't talk about some of the shenanigans.
So that got me back in the groove of doing the movie stuff again with Bob. Yeah. And again, if you're not familiar or whatever, Bob, when I worked at KNB, was obviously the K part of KNB, so that's how he knew me.
Yeah.
He knew what I did. I was a mold maker, and they needed a mold maker and just another lab tech in the shop and stuff. And so I did that for about a year, 2 maybe, whatever. And that's when I was like, you know, this is just wearing on me. It's wearing on the family. Mm-hmm. And then he needed a seamstress, which Rachel at the time.
Right, exactly.
So it kind of was a good move for all of us. And
sure.
Then we just got a house in town and.
Well, it was kind of, especially around here, and even being like you from Michigan, where Flint, it's not like a movie city or anything like that.
You don't say.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying as the part where, holy shit, they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's everybody and anybody. And to this day, if I meet somebody even at the bank in 2 towns over, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I used to work in movies. You worked at that place out there, so I had a good reputation over the years. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I had a good reputation.
Reputation.
It had a reputation, put it that way. And so, it's it is what it is, man. Moved the family here. We did effects, and then that kind of ran its course.
Yeah, well, like everything, but it was kind of a refreshing because it was, you came. It was there was a lot because like when we first opened that place, it was Bob, me, a guy named Dave Matherly, and Ann, and that was it.
Kat, she was kind of a helper.
Well, she was kind of the intern, yeah. So like the more people like came in, like you and House and Scene, Gino was there, and I met Gino like before they ever opened. We did the the haunted house thing with him, yeah. So that was really cool, and then it was like seeing the shop kind of grow. And it's like, and then I met you, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun because, we kind of hit it off. We're into the same music and, metal, the Halloween stuff,
Pantera,
metal,
Slayer, all good shit. Yeah.
Just blaring the music. So it was so much fun back then, and that's, for me personally, I mean, obviously for you as well, where it was just like, this is something we can hang on to, but it's the journey that keeps you moving on. And that's what happened,
again, you and I, we could talk all day shop of how many memories we got of just hanging out and doing dumb stuff and
the movies and
all that kind
all
of
stuff
music,
that was made.
People that we ran across, partying a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit.
No, a lot.
And it's just all that is stuff that. But that place ran its course. There was no more movies coming in. I kind of moved on. I moved on to I joined the film union. We all a bunch of us joined the film.
I did too. Yeah.
So we joined the film union. Because of the work started slowing down there, and then that's when we started working in Ohio here at the film union and stuff, and getting some jobs. But even that was slow because it's Ohio.
And they would bring their own crews in too.
Yeah, I mean, we could do another show about how much I really hated the film union. But I don't. We have actually. You and I have talked about.
Yes.
Fucking 209, right?
Well, it sucks when you're here and you can't get a job. And at one point, there's a lot of movies coming in, and you're just like, you're sitting there just kind of waiting for the call. Yeah. You're trying to know the right person. And
it was too clicky.
Yes.
I hate to say that it's our location because we were in between Cleveland and Columbus, which you would think I'd be working all the time.
Yeah.
Because I could go to Columbus or Cleveland. But for some reason, we were in that little zone where they didn't want to hire us because we were distant employees. Yeah. They have to put us up.
You have to put them up. Yep.
You got to be fucking crazy because I heard about the people that are on set are all from Pittsburgh and New Mexico, Detroit, which was another pain in the ass. You're like, dude, why are you bringing people from Detroit?
Yeah.
When I'm an hour away, so. There's other things about that union, and I don't know if they've changed. It's possible. I don't know.
I just got out, man. I was like, I'm done.
I just said, you know what? It's just too clicky. It's too this. It is whatever, man. So, and then that's what led me to doing the trade shows, Trans World trade shows, and that. So getting into that when our work was getting a little slow at Precinct 13, we're like, well, how do we find a way to supplement some more money coming in with the talent and the cool shit that we can fucking make, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it was Midwest was our first show, which was right here in our backyard, which was Columbus.
Yeah.
So on our off time at the shop, because we were busy bees, was just as an artist, artist people get it. That's all we do is think about building stuff. We look at stuff and we analyze it. We try to figure it out. We try to go, you know what, I would paint it this way, and I would create it this way, or whatever. So on our off time, we get to do what we want to do, and that's where another outlet of like, I want to create this fire, whatever. So Bob suggested that we set up and do Midwest
Midwest Haunters Convention.
And so we did that, and I think he rented like 2 or 3 booths, and then Scene and I kind of did our little section.
Right.
And everybody did well. Bob's stuff did well. My stuff did well, and Scene's stuff did well because we have our own aesthetic, our own look, our own thing. So when you did that well, and then we met a bunch of new people that are in the industry that were like, who the heck are these guys? You know, like this stuff's incredible. Like, where have you guys been hiding out?
Right.
Well, we haven't been hiding out. We just kind of didn't know it. So now I'm like, well,
doing
this
other
is cool.
shit. Yeah.
People are buying my stuff. Let's do this again. I made a nice chunk of money, and then I was able to make cool stuff that I've never really been able to do. So that's when I branched into, making more of the like props
Right.
and stuff. That's kind of where, I used to make stuff that sold at stores throughout Los Angeles and stuff, which was like, the skull candle holders and ashtrays and all that kind of stuff. So when I'm able to create some kind of cool prop of something that someone just digs on, as an artist, the feeling you get is like, this is cool. That's the payoff.
Yeah, for sure.
Even here, if I get to build stuff and do stuff, or you commission me to make something, and you go, just do whatever. This is just stay in this realm. And it's like, it's such a cool thing that people appreciate what you make and what you do, and then they say, do what you want to do. And I have that freedom is pretty cool. So leaving that movie industry was tough in a way because made a lot of money.
Yeah.
The movie industry liked to pay good, and going on as a artist on your own was tough because there was a lot of struggles in just staying alive. Or we all know it takes money to make money. So if you're making a little bit of money to live, then you go, I guess I can't fucking create this shit.
Yeah. So then after, because we did Trans World too.
Yes.
After Midwest, we all went to Trans World.
We found out that was cool. Now let's do big Trans World. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that for, I don't know, a few years.
Few years.
Yeah. And then at some point, I was getting to the point where I'm like, well, because I'm not an artist. I did audio and, that kind of stuff. So I was kind of moving on. You kind of started doing haunts in like all over, like New Orleans and Texas.
Yeah. Well, I started doing my booth by myself.
Yeah.
Is kind of what the next step or the next avenue of whatever happened. I took on doing a booth by myself that I could decorate it, make everything in there the way that I wanted to do it, my vision, instead of being kind of tied to, when I did Bob's, it was kind of like I only had this little section
right
that I could only do, and I was like, well, fuck it, I just want to do it on my own so I can be me.
So it's Demski Creations by itself.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with that. It's just like, as an artist, you just want to you want to do what you want to do. That's what makes you
unique.
Yeah. So once I did it, and I had my own look, I decorated it the way I wanted it, and I did all that. I think people took interest in like wondering what else I could do as far as the painting, creating. I was doing costumes and doing masks, and Rachel would sew them and stuff like that. I just designed them, and I was like, hey, make this, and matter of fact, make 20 of those, and if you're selling 25 or 30 of them, then you design something correct. You're doing something right. And I always did well at those shows, and it's a risk, like, and anything you do, because you don't know if it's cool enough or it's too expensive, whatever the case. So once I did those shows, I was doing them on my own. I had certain haunts were interested in me going to their haunt and making stuff at their haunt, or doing props or something at their haunt because they have stuff.
Right.
And I kind of sold myself, and I still do. You get more out of me if you hire me and put me there, and they go, you got a bunch of stuff, I'll make it there, and we do it this way. Or you buy this for this amount of money and this amount of money, but that's all you get.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, shit, let's bring him in. So I would started to travel, and that was probably 10, 11, I don't know, 8 years ago or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And I would go down there and I would make stuff, and then I started going, well, if I can make all these cool props in this room and kind of decorate your room, let me paint your room, and let me create this, and let me paint that, and let's add this, and it just kind of turned into that. That's, it's a vision. Instead of making 10 little cool props and you put them in a bedroom,
Right.
Let me paint the bedroom too, so it all cohesive, and do this.
Sure.
And make this come out of here, so it just kind of evolved into.
Yeah, because you would be gone. You weren't just gone in the fall. I remember you were gone like a lot of times, just like throughout the year, doing stuff.
I got lucky enough. I would travel down south. I was doing stuff at Netherworld, and I was doing stuff for the mortuary in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing stuff for 13 Gate, which is in Baton Rouge. I did stuff for House of Torment, and
well, they're in Texas, ain't they?
that's in Texas.
Yeah.
We did I can't remember them all. There's a couple more in there. There's one
Yeah.
in San Antonio, and it's a good feeling because people are like what you do.
Sure.
They trust that you're going to go in, and they kind of say, hey man, just fucking do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Make what you want to make, and whatever. Just keep it within budget, or whatever. And it's kind of a good feeling too that the trust is there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, like people that I've talked to that have bought your stuff before. The cool thing about, because you're still going to Trans World this year. You went last year.
Gonna be there.
Yeah. Booth. What booth are you in?
Oh shit! Why would you ask me that?
I know our booth. What's up?
666. My God, it's. I'll post it here.
Yeah,
sir. I'll tell him.
It's in the quiet zone, which I thought was funny.
And it's right by the shitter.
Yeah.
It is by the men's shitter.
It's perfect for you.
Yeah, it really, it really is, because so many people who don't know that I'm there.
Yeah.
All these dudes that are taking a leak or whatever they're doing in there, they come out and they see the booth, and then someone literally comes by and goes, "We didn't know where you were, man, and Joe just took a piss over here and we saw your booth." I'm like, so it's kind of a good spot. So if you're taking a dump or you're puking or do whatever, come on by.
Hangover blues, yeah.
I'm next to Dippin' Dots, which is a whole other thing we talked about.
I remember.
The motherfuckers coming in with Dippin' Dots in my booth. I'm like, really?
Yeah, get out, yeah.
Really?
Well, the cool thing, like I was saying, though, is I think they know that it's not going to be the same shit every year. It's like, well, we're going to go to Demski's booth and we're going to find something like this.
Yep.
There's a piece you made for this year's booth, which is killer, which might not leave, which might stay here.
Yeah.
But they know that it's like there's not going to be another one of these next year at the booth. That's what makes it unique and great from buying from you, is it's like I'm pretty much getting one of a kind.
Yes.
When I buy those really...
There's a few things I sort of replicate, but there's still always a little twist to it. If I put a head in a jar, it could be the same head, but I did a little something different to it or whatever. Sure. But I think
the showstoppers.
Oh yeah, no. This year is
we went from
we went from showstopper to next level.
To next level, exactly.
A new level.
So these are next level effects.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh,
the showstoppers of the old days were
bring this bitch out. We kind of get a little.
It's gorgeous, man.
A little something, and it has lights. It gets crazy. There's lights on them. And this guy here, somewhere on here, there's a button on this.
Oh, is there a button on there? Oh, I see a light.
I don't want to hit eject there.
Oh, there it goes, yeah.
But there's more lights to it and everything. But
and that's cool because you could, if you don't want the lights, you can just turn them off. It still looks badass.
Yep, there you go. We'll just leave. There we go. Well, the thing when you were saying about I make stuff that's different every year, if you've been following me for over the years, which and you know what I'm talking about. Mm. Remember, I used to do all this steampunk stuff.
Sure,
of the gears, and the brass, and I used to dress up like a nurse. No, actually,
you still do.
Once or so. I used to dress up in the steampunk clothes. And everything was like I remember. That. And I feel like every year that I would do something, it was something new. I always wanted something new. Because after doing those shows, I felt like if you weren't trailblazing, that you're going to end up just like some of the other people that are just really not wowing anything. It's the same shit,
Same stuff.
Same costume, same mask, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I even seen it. I mean, I saw people that whatever I created, next year there'd be like two new dudes that are kind of like dancing around a little close to what I was doing. I'm like, well, but it's a good feeling because you've inspired some people, or people really dig what you're doing. So there's always that fine line of
Right.
oh, you're fucking copying me or you're ripping me off. And trust me, in this industry, there's a lot of ripping off around here.
I think
Notice I'm talking through the teeth. There's some people who like to rip people off in this business.
Unfortunately, that's the truth.
And it sucks. How do you moderate it? How do you do it? Well, what I have learned is get pissed off, talk shit about them, and then move on and create something new.
You've learned that lesson well. There you go.
And still talk shit about them.
Yeah, right.
No, but what I've done is I just keep creating stuff new.
Yeah.
And I could sit and post pictures and find back from however the first seasons or years that I did it all the way to now, the difference that I have done in the show, as far as setup in my booth, what I'm selling, what I'm creating. Now what I've done is I've kind of teamed up with a couple other vendors and get things from them, so to cut some of the workload out of me, because I do everything myself in my booth.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen me. I do everything. I order it. I do that. I paint it. I build it. I do this. I did recruit a new person this year. I got some workers, the other half.
Oh, yes.
She's 6'7".
Yeah.
Of course. Got her.
Just say it, dude. It's the warden's widow.
It's the warden's widow. It's the old girl.
That's the giraffe.
Yeah.
Who is also going to be on the show coming up here in a couple weeks. So
plugging her. You know.
Yeah. And she's great. We love her. Yeah. She's right up there.
Yep. She helps me paint, but other than that, I do everything myself, which is tough. And I get people like, oh, you got to do 2 booths, and I'm like, I just don't have. There's not enough time and money to do it and stuff. But anyways, go back to creating new stuff every year. It's a tough thing because as soon as the show is over in Trans World, which is what's the dates on March?
I think it's the 17th.
17th, so come and see. I don't know the fucking booth number. I mean, why would I want to tell the booth number? You should just know where I'm at.
Oh, my God, here we go.
I mean, come on. No.
The quiet zone.
Quiet zone. And I will be loud. No, I'm not loud over there. So I feel like a new product, new change, new look every year. I mean, my booth is even the same walls. They're just painted a different color.
Right.
But I feel that as a marketing tool of some kind that I need to just change that look. And I've got all kinds of new stuff. I got new stuff again that's going to be mind-blowing. If I said it last year to people, I'm like, again, this is a fucking showstopper. Well, that shit's gone. I'm already bored with it. That, to me, is not this year stuff. There's some mind-blowing stuff I'm doing.
What do you do, though, like if somebody buys something for you, like one of your wall pieces, like, because I've got a few of them, you know what I mean? But it's like, dude, I want something just like that. Well, come on, man. I'm not going to make the same thing. But I want it like that. Oh, well, come on, dude.
Again, we run into that problem of,
can you make me 10 of them and ship them? And
that's the thing. Is replicating for me sucks because it's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it when I made all the cryo tanks.
Yeah.
So me and another friend of mine, George, we went on a journey and I made all these cryo tanks. And after about number 10, I was just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
It was like working in the factory again.
Production art. Yeah.
I hated it.
Sure.
So I think that's another thing with the one of a kind. Now, answering your question is, it's hard to turn that down because you go, well, that piece was, X amount of money. That's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I run into the problem of a lot of the stuff that I do is all one of a kind. And I hunt stuff down.
Yes.
Around the country and the marketplace and eBay. Some of these pieces that are on this are from Thailand. I mean, this stuff that I'm making is a lot of it's authentic. Like I got a bunch of stuff, medical bandages and medical stuff. I found a guy that has all this stuff from Vietnam era. It's all from Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And it's American stuff, but it's all that era. And I had tons of it. And I want to bring it to the show, and it's like all the old wrappers and stuff still in boxes, everything like that, So I try to make it another cool piece in the sense of just buying something off of Amazon and going, look, dude, this is a bandage box. I want, when you go to a haunt, like even like here, I want authentic stuff. Like, I try to do stuff here that's just so, out the door and authentic. I'm printing real pictures of dead people off and, things like, just trying to give that different level of cool stuff that no one else has. So same with the booth. I'm trying to do stuff that, it's replica from World War II of this, or I'm painting something that's like exactly like they did back in the early 1900s and stuff like that. So it just adds that much more, I don't know, coolness. Is that another word that we're inventing?
I'm sure that works.
All right. So I just want stuff that is so much out there that no one else is doing and replicating and stuff.
And I think you pull that off. I mean, I really think you do because, even the COVID year when we didn't get to go to the show, we had your booth set up in the shop.
Yep.
And, we had ours set up and yours was in the corner and we kind of went live and we did some stuff. And, your stuff was sold. I mean, you did really well even not going.
I was very, very fortunate and grateful to people that were still supporting a lot of us that all our money was on the line. I mean, doing a show is not cheap. A lot of people don't.
It is not.
People don't get it. And as a one-man gang, if you will, that I do, I'm putting from the day that the show ends in Trans World, I'm already like thinking, what am I doing for the next year?
Yeah.
So I'm buying stuff. I'm already like, hunting stuff. I'm clicking. I'm already spending money in the rest of the year to buy stuff. And I really do. Because it's not like what I do and make is at a normal store. I just don't go to, Walmart and buy replica plastic helmets. It's like these things take a hot minute to find. So, yeah, I was very fortunate that happened, and I was able to recoup and get my money back from all the money that we put into the show. Unfortunately for COVID, I think a lot of people were, and then that was a good year because our haunt was open and we had a really good year. So that was unexpected, I think, for a lot of people. But I think a lot of people just want to get out and do something, man.
Yeah.
Being freaked out about COVID and worrying about touching stuff. And worrying about gas and food and it was
toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper. It was like
you need that.
Who's gonna wipe their ass 9,000 times? That's what dude wipes are for.
Well, and then we, so getting back to the haunted house stuff. Yep. Whether you work at one or you're coming to one, if a new actor is coming into your haunt or a guest hasn't been to your haunt, they come in, especially when they come to our building, which is one of the greatest facades you could ask for.
Better. Couldn't ask for better.
So they come in, they want to see something that's off the chain. They want to see stuff that's going to be really good and, that looks like people spend a lot of time in. So that was kind of my situation coming in here was like, I want to work with, the best people that because I was lucky enough to work with you and House over at the shop and, Scene and everybody. And it was like, so I'm like, I know this group of people that's really good. And I just remember thinking, because I know we talked one time, you were like, hey, well, I'm kind of committed to New Orleans, but what do you got? And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it yet. And you ended up going to New Orleans. You did some work for us. You did, painted some walls and, did some sets for us. And then the following year, we were able to work everything out.
Yeah.
And I, wanted to work with you and everything and got you to come in full time. And I think we got a really good team here right now because we kind of feed off of each other. I mean, it's not always perfect, but it when you come at Halloween time in October, people walk in and be like, wow. I've had so many people say, this is the best I've ever seen this haunt, from the set designing and the set dressing to what we put in, like the cell blocks. Before, the cell blocks were never that full, so you got all these big sets that we've built, from you setting, Mike and Anthony and the crew that comes in and builds. It really worked and completed my vision because I couldn't, it wasn't like my vision, but I'm saying I couldn't do all that without the team here, you included, of course. And that was always what I wanted to do. It was always the goal. And I just feel like we've really kind of accomplished, there's obviously we did our design the other night, so we got more we want to do.
Oh yeah. It's endless. The hard part for us, if people don't get it, we are in a real prison.
Yeah.
Or an old prison.
An old one, yeah.
And we're not allowed to set up probably, 3/4 of our haunt because they run tours through it. And other events. And there's movies that film here. There's TV shows and ghost hunts.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the list goes on and on. So we're not able to sit and build like some haunts got all year to sit and dick around and redo a couple rooms that they wanted to do, or a hallway or whatever they did. So we bust so much ass in 2-3 weeks ish, 4 weeks at the most, of setting up, I take that back, unloading the trucks with all the stuff in it, dragging it through a prison that wasn't meant to be bringing big things in. It's not, the doors, we got a double door that that
we got to pull cars in and
barely fits anything through that. And then you got to drag them around because, again, it's a real prison. It's not made for you to be going through and coming out these doors and dropping stuff in. So I don't think people get how much work once you see the show that we put on now, which is, I'm mind blowing. I mean, I look at the show and I go,
hell yeah,
holy shit, how the hell do we pull this off? And it's a lot of people involved in it. It's not not just me. I just get to help make it look good at the very end of it and go, fix this and that, and throw some dirt on this and whatever. But it's amazing to see how people are blown away at the amount of stuff that we do for the show. And I try to tell people that I'm like, you want to see a fucking great show, music, everything. The show, some costumes and the makeups that we're doing. And it's all thrown together. And then the shitty part is you have to tear it all down. So,
it's rough, man.
And people have no clue the amount of work of tearing all that stuff that you're just so happy in it. And of course, I think a lot of haunter guys, builders and set people and all, and owners, whatever, they know that you're kind of fixing things throughout the whole season. So once you're set up on day one and you're open that first day, you're like, this didn't work and this didn't work and the sound sucked, and it's with everybody. So you're tweaking and adding and fixing all the way to like that last day, and that's when it's like, God, the show is great, but fuck, we gotta tear it down tomorrow.
I know.
Everyone's coming in tomorrow, or shutting it down or whatever. And we end up taking one day off.
We get it.
You get one
day
off,
to recoup. One day.
Everybody comes back in, and it's insane the amount of work that goes into tearing everything down and cleaning everything up. And then we have to do it in a small amount of time because the prison has to open back up. So, I mean, it's a monumental amount of work for our small crew that we have. We don't have the luxury of being open throughout the year and coming in and just tinkering what we want to do and stuff like some other haunts do.
Right.
But we do build stuff, throughout the year. But it's crazy that if anybody saw the show, they'd be like, where the fuck did all this come from? And it's just busting ass of unloading the trucks and building stuff.
It's a good feeling when you get it all done and you open and you see it. You're just like, wow, we did it again. We got it. You know what I mean? But it is heartbreaking to tear it all down, and then you look at it because like now when you walk back there, like for me personally, just the bullpen, how we set up the room for the queue line, and it's just like, I just miss even that, it's just like, look, this doesn't look the same.
Because then you walk out over and you look up that tier, you're like, kind of look down, it's just a square, empty spot.
It's empty.
Usually there's walls and stuff.
But
the white noise of the show and stuff, and I mean, I think the dynamic of the show from when I first started here, and it was gradually it's made it there, is hearing some of the people that have went through our show before I think even you were here, at Haunted X or something.
Yeah.
And it's just grown. That I know personally, I've had certain people come to me and they were like, "Man, I came here like 10 years ago and I wasn't ever coming back." And then they come here after we've been here, just making it way cooler. That they had no clue except for some of the pictures we post or our new videos, which are just incredible for they're like mini movies to me. I always look at them, I watch them, I'm like, really? That's pretty badass. We need to make a whole movie from that little 20 seconds we did, So I think all around, and there's always room for improvement, I think, at any place that you do, because we all learn by mistakes and what we do and on a daily basis. Even if you're driving home and you make a left-hand turn instead of a right-hand turn, you go, well, won't ever do that again.
Yeah.
But the show is going to be even much, cooler. We got more cooler stuff that we're going to do this year, and I'm looking forward to, some of the new stuff that we're going to create.
It's going to be killer, man. I think this is going to be a good year for us. And also, just some of the stuff we get to do here, like we did our first Christmas show this year, very first one, and it was a success. So that was great. And I was a little worried just because of the market we're in, you know what I'm saying? So I was a little concerned, but it really did really well.
Yep.
And then we do incarceration every year.
Yes.
So we don't have it up all year round, but we get these little benefits, like we get to go to Ink every year, and that's kind of fun,
So we could clarify what that means when we're open.
Yeah.
There is a couple spots in the building that are dedicated towards the haunted house for us.
Yeah, we still get the two areas.
So in case there's listeners or whatever, that we have a couple spaces that we have, and we are able to tweak those babies down to nobody's business, and we've done a lot of new upgrades and a lot of stuff in there. So those are the things that we're only to open on our smaller events. So like incarceration,
right?
We only have the two little spots because people are like, well, fuck, I'm gonna see the cell blocks, and it's like, sorry, dude,
can't do it. Yeah,
there's empty cell block. But the upstairs, we call upstairs and downstairs. Downstairs is kind of like a labor of love, I think, for me, and Vic has allowed me to kind of take a theme that I'm really fond of, and it's like the Frankenstein's Army kind of look, kind of thing. The mad doctors, and the Germans are the bad guys. Is really what it is. They are. They always have been.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that feeling of the bad doctors and the experiments, and they're the bad guys. But we have kind of made that this bunker kind of feel, and I don't know. I just
really cool.
love it. I could go on and on for days, and more stuff that I want to do to it. Again, it's time and money. But our upstairs is kind of like the old, like an old house that's just like a typical old haunted house that we go through, and we're actually redoing the whole front of it. I'm repainting it and adding some more new scares, more animations this year. There's just a bunch of new cool stuff. We killed it with some new rooms last year with teams of people artists that we on the outside we had come in and help us do stuff, and it's a lot of work all around for gutting the room alone, man. Some of these rooms again we're in a real prison, and some of these rooms are like old offices and stuff, and you have to gut the fuck out of them to get everything out of there and redo them. And redo the floors and everything else. So it's a lot of work, man. So some of the new rooms we did, if you didn't know the before and afters, the amount of work that went into some of these rooms that we did.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm humbled and honored to be able to say, that I do this full time, and that you can do this full time, and that the rest of the crew, Mike and Anthony, even Jen, can come in, and they know they can come here every day. And it's like, this is my gig, this is my job.
Yeah.
And plus you do Demski Creations.
Yeah.
You can find that on, all the social media, Instagram and Facebook and everything. So you do that on top of this. And it's just like, the perfect world for you,
Making a living at doing art and doing this stuff. is really no better. I mean, of course, there's those struggles of figuring out, how do I build this in here? What do I do this? And what's the newest technology for material? I mean, there's all the dumb stuff, maybe stuff that I worry about that you don't care. You go, just fucking get it done.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, but I get.
Yeah. But
just do it.
I think the when we sit down at the drawing board and we get the ideas and we all brainstorm, that we sit there and go, let's try this, let's do this. Taking inspiration from movies, other haunts. We go, hey, you know what? You saw this at that haunt. Let's do that, but like do our version of it.
Right.
And I think a lot of people do that anyways, because you can't think of everything.
No. I love those days, man. I love, like we did the other day when we walk around, just listening to you guys, just like, oh, well, let's do this. And just watching stuff be born is like, because I don't have those as creative juices that like you guys do. So it's just very interesting for me to hear all that come to life. And then like when Matt does the drawings and see it, and then they start to build and then you paint, I'm just like, oh man, it's great.
Yeah, it's exciting. When you get around other creative people, and I think that's in my world of all the art shit that I've ever done and that's when you learn stuff, and that's when you feed off other people as you get excited and you get around another person that they got ideas and they have a talent or they have some kind of other experience that they've done and go, hey man, we should try this. And, if you did that, that's that whole thing with the art world of just again using the saying you said, creative juices, of getting it all together and then shaking it up and going, all right, this is what we got. It's way cool
watching it happen.
Yeah. So I'm excited for us for this year, for some of the stuff that we're gonna do and we're gonna create. And things always change too. You always end up going, hey, you know what? Let's try this, or you know what? I saw this at a show or something like that. Let's do our rendition, or sometimes you open another can of worms and we try doing something in a room and go, hey, we didn't even think about this. Let's try this. And so there's going to be a bunch of new stuff. And again, when we sell we do the cell blocks, and they're huge. They're fucking huge. If you have never been here, and the prison here is the world's record for the tallest.
The East Cell block is
five or six
tiers.
Six tiers high. It's beautiful. Now we don't decorate all the way to the ceiling. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
But just being in this place and setting up what we do is mind blowing. But I really recommend anybody that if you're on the list of traveling from haunts to haunts and you happen to cruise through Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Our show it's pretty cool, and I'm not just trying to toot my own horn on it, but it is a cool show. I am proud of what it is, of the amount of work and the team that we have and stuff like that.
For sure, man.
It's crazy, and if you are a fan of my artwork, there's plenty of it here to fucking see. That's goddamn sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. that looks like, what are we calling this? West Cell Block?
Called Write Me a Check.
I get the
Venmo.
Blood Prison discount.
Yeah, send me
5 fingers.
Fucking Venmo that shit.
Well, listen, man, it's been an honor having you on the show. I love working with you every day.
We cover everything. I mean, we didn't go over my religion or who I want for president.
We know that you're happy with
let's not bring any of that shit up.
No, it's great, man, and I'd love to have you back on because I want to do we want to do this whole Blood Prison series. I'm going to have some of the Build guys come on. Going to have the Warden's Widow come on. And I might have a couple of the reformatory people come on and do some stuff so we can get kind of an idea. But once we get close to ink, we'll probably do some more stuff. So if you want to come back on, man, it'd be great to have you.
There's always time to just shoot the shit, talk about some other projects, talk about other stuff, other stories. Because I mean, there's a million stories down the road where this and that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know me, man.
We didn't even get into like just the couple years that we've been here.
Yeah,
like
that's
how
true.
we've done. So there's a lot we could talk about and, just throw an input. So if you love the Halloween time of year, this is where you got to be, and I really try to surround Blood Prison with the people that love that.
They can vote for me to come back, or how's that work? I mean, are we doing dings or?
Yeah, send us a message, like if you would like to see Brian Demski back on the show,
or not, or you can make fun of me. I'll give a fuck.
Yeah, just make a comment on YouTube, or
I need someone to count and put in the comments how many times I said fuck, because I don't really realize when I say fuck a lot.
Yeah, you don't.
Though I did have a haunt owner one time call me on the phone. It's another fun, quick story for you, because we got to go. And he was on a 3-way call, and he calls me. So since he was on a 3-way call, I goes, well, I don't know who the other guy is, so I better be proper. So I'm just all talking. I did my proper voice. I'm like, hello, how you doing? This is Brian. Doing that. And he finally goes, man, that's the longest I've went talking to you without you dropping the F-bomb. And I goes, well, fuck, if you wanted me to do that. And he just busts out laughing or whatever. Yeah, I just dropping it. Dude, I just don't even realize it, man. And I go, God damn it, I got a filthy goddamn mouth.
I told you when we first started here, when I first brought you on, I'm like, look, so sometimes we're open.
Yes.
Like on the off season, we're open like Thursday through Sunday until we get, then we're 7 days. So, when we're walking down the hall, you can't, Mike, grab that fucking thing again, because we got guests in here, but you guys still do it.
I try my best, but then I work with him, and he likes to drop the F-bomb too. Yeah. So I go, well, if he's gonna, then someone else, and then you get involved,
and then I'm like, what the fuck, man? You guys got to quit doing that.
Yeah, we love to cuss around.
Yeah, sailor, we cuss like sailors.
Yeah, we like to swear quite a bit. It's very, very true.
Good shit, man. Well, hey, listen.
All right.
Good luck at Transworld this year.
Yep.
We go together, so it's going to be great. Yep. Be sure if you're going to Transworld to check out Brian's booth. Number we don't know. Quiet Zone. Right by the shitter.
By the shitter. Guy's shitter. It's on that aisle corner by Dippin' Dots. You know what? Look up Dippin' Dots. I'm right behind.
You'll see it, and you're going to see really cool shit like this, and many other pieces. Not just masks, but like wall pieces, props. Gurneys with just fucked up bodies, and costume, everything,
props,
man.
Fucking medical tools, everything, man.
Hell yeah! Next time though, we'll bring you back. We'll talk about tattoos. We'll talk about all that other good shit.
Oh, good! I got good tattoos.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Yep. Have a good one, and we'll see you guys here next time.
You got it,
Thanks, bro.